Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. This is Tanush. So, today we'll be discussing about this Saturn and Ketu conjunction. What happens when Saturn and Ketu they come together in a person's birth chart, right? So, it's a kind of very frustrating conjunction if it is not handled properly. It can create delays, it can create a lot of doubts in person's mind. Also, it's a very mystical conjunction which will, the person who has this conjunction will have to face a lot of mystical circumstances which would be very difficult to relate, to a particular source, right? So, if a person has this conjunction, so it has to be managed properly, and if it is not managed, then it will lead to a lot of frustration and other things which we'll see. So I'm going to touch two main aspects. One is related to career, and second is it's related to the kind of situation person faces, and that depends a lot on where Saturn is sitting in your chart and which houses it owns, right? So let's get started, right? So we all know that Saturn is a very slow moving planet. It's a planet of delays. It's a planet which signifies our past karma. Saturn generally gives result when a person is actually ready. When a person actually deserves it, right? So until that point, Saturn doesn't give results, which means person will have to work extremely hard, master that particular aspect, which can be anything. Be very disciplined, persevere, and have a lot of patience. And that is when Saturn sees that this person is ready, that is when Saturn awards. So Saturn generally causes delays, right? So it generally gives results very slowly. So when Saturn conjuncts with Ketu we all know is a headless planet. It doesn't like to think. It's a planet of renunciation which believes in letting go of things, right? So it doesn't want to persevere, it doesn't want to work very hard, on whichever front it generally represents in a particular person's chart, right? So Ketu also kind of represents things which we have already achieved in our previous lives, and we don't care about that in the present life, right? So when Saturn and Ketu come together, these two very huge malefic planets, when they come together, so what happens is Saturn is in natural Kal Chakra Kundali, Saturn is the lord of the 10th and 11th house. So we all know, this 10th and 11th house are the most important houses for a person's career, for a person's business, right? So it represents our work environment, what we do for living, our the respect which we get, our progress in profession, gains from profession, our network circle. So this is all the sign of Capricorn and Aquarius represent. So 10th and 11th house, right? So Saturn represents all these things, and when Ketu comes with Saturn, and they are in very close conjunction together, probably within 10 degrees. So what happens is Saturn already causes delays, which gives the person frustration. And when Ketu joins Saturn, the person becomes very doubtful. So person will be working in particular organization. Probably he will be working very good, very talented, but the person will always doubt whether I am actually suitable, or probably this is what I have to do for living. So is this what I have to do for living? So this is not meant for me, right? So that question always haunts that person is not happy working there. If so, Saturn already slows down the progress, and Ketu, what Ketu does is, if a person doesn't get promotion or hike or the role which a person is actually aspiring, Ketu says that it's okay, so let it go, right? Probably we'll wait for things to happen, or even if it doesn't come, it doesn't matter, right? So that feeling Ketu gives. but ultimately person will get frustrated because growth is restricted, growth is very slow. Person will be fighting with his own self, whether he is in the right environment, whether he or she is in the right organization, or in the proper stream, work stream, or probably I'll have to change my work stream. So that's what a person actually thinks. And this kind of conjunction, people having this kind of conjunction, they change their work stream more than once. So they change their career. So if someone is into say for example IT, software industry, then then that particular person may actually change to some other line of work, which can be business, which can be teaching, or any other line of work, right? People get frustrated due to this conjunction because they don't have that clarity on what is happening. So they generally have this identity crisis because Saturn and Ketu shrinks a person from inside. It doesn't allow a person to become very bold, so they are kind of battling inside, not able to express their ideas, and they shrink from inside, right? So they'll not be able to express themselves, and that will restrict their growth as well, right? So that is what happens, right? So this has to be dealt properly because Saturn already is creating frustration if it is badly placed, and when Ketu joins, it further slows down things. It further slows down things, and it changes a person's attitude and thought process, right? Now, second thing is, person will have to face situations which are very mystical in nature. So they'll not be able to actually come at the right source. So for example, if Saturn and Ketu are sitting in a person's lagna or the first house, which is the physical body of a person, right? The person will go through some sort of health issues, some sort of problems related to health, which cannot be diagnosed, right? So the person ends up going from one doctor to other doctor, and from one physician to another physician. They'll try out various different medicines, traditional medicines, but they'll not get solution, or they'll not be able to arrive at proper proper solution, or the proper source. So after a lot of struggle, after a lot of frustration, that is when actually they'll come to know what the problem is. So it already would do a lot of harm in a person's life, right? So again, you need to deal with this, right? So if this conjunction is happening in your sixth house, for example, in a particular sign and nakshatra, right? So it doesn't behave same way for everyone, right? Lot depends upon which sign it is sitting, which nakshatra it is sitting, where the dispositor of that particular sign is sitting. So many things are there, but this is a general talk which I am speaking. If it happens in your sixth house, then you'll have to deal with a lot of hidden enemies. You'll not even know that that particular person is your enemy until the harm is done severely. And when you look back, then you'll see that this person I thought was my best friend, or my well-wisher, but look at what the person has done, right? So like they say, your best friend can do tremendous harm than an enemy, right? So you'll have to deal with a lot of hidden enemies, right? A lot of hidden enemies, and that can be at your workplace, that can be in your friend circle, or anywhere in general, right? And if it is happening in the eighth house, again in a particular sign, in some particular sign, in some particular nakshatras, look, and then we have to look at the dispositor. Then the person will surely have to face situations which are quite secretive in nature, because Saturn is a lot of eighth house. It represents things which are hidden deep inside, secretive things. And eighth sign in Kalchakra Kundali is the sign of Scorpio, which itself is a very mystical sign, right? So the person will have to face things which are quite different in nature, quite mystic in nature, and no one else will be able to understand what the person is going through, because Saturn is there, Ketu is also there. Ketu is a smoky planet. It creates a lot of illusion, a lot of smoke, where things are not at all clear. So you'll always be looking at different solutions, or the source of problem you'll not be able to find, right? So this is in general what Saturn and Ketu conjunction does to a person. And if you have this conjunction and you are facing this kind of situation, then you need to deal with it, right? So you need to deal with Saturn, you need to deal with Ketu, and then you will be able to manage this thing. You'll be able to manage your life. If at all things are, as I explained, you're also facing this kind of situation, then you need to manage Saturn and Ketu. Now on the brighter side, if at all a person is interested in learning some mystical things like astrology, things of other dimension, you're into Reiki, or healing, pranic healing, and many other things which are quite different, quite mystic in nature, then you will be able to learn these things very, very effectively. You'll be able to practice and heal people very effectively, right? And also, if you take to spirituality, you'll be able to connect, to the divine. You'll be able to understand the codes of the supreme, and you'll make tremendous progress. Especially it happens in your 8th house, which is the house of samadhi, 5th house, 9th house, or 12th house. So there are good aspects as well, but one thing is you need to deal with this conjunction, right? So if you deal, then you'll be able to sail through very easily. Otherwise it will generally create a lot of frustration, delays, issues which you'll not be able to understand the source, right? So these were some of my thoughts on Saturn Ketu conjunction. And this conjunction is so mystic that I recorded this video 3 times. So this was way back, probably I think it was in 2024. I recorded twice, then in 25 I recorded once. Video was ready, everything was ready, but I couldn't post it, and somehow I'm not able to trace that video, right? So I hope this video goes live, right? Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another video.